Okay, so here we are. We're going to take all of the mulch off of the arbervitae, and then we'll assess the situation from there and see what we have. So let me turn you around and focus the camera. There we go. And let's see what we got, shall we? Hopefully you can see. Yeah, there we go. And we're gonna just, I'm trying to keep you in the shade so the phone don't get too hot. So, alright, you guys can see under here, I have a rock in between the stem. Yeah, you can see that. It's a little at the top of the camera. And then this here, aluminum foil, is actually where I tried to aerate it. So I took I took some of the bark off of the stem, the trunk there, and what I did was peeled it down to where I knew that it wasn't gonna have any sap or anything, and then I simply put some root starter powder on it, and I also put peat moss around it, wrapped it with plastic, the way I've seen everybody air propagates things from stem. And then after I wrapped it with the cellophane to keep the moisture in and everything, then I covered it with the aluminum foil. So there was some, you're probably getting an eyeful of the tree. There was some mulch on this, and then I was pruning a lot of it because it was already dying. So hopefully you can still see that. Yep. Now we're gonna bring this a little closer, and you can see where I air propagated it. There's actually a couple of these little green garden ties on the bottom where I tied the cellophane onto I twisted some cellophane onto it and then wrapped it in this. So now we're going to, hey, there is a pause button. We're going to try using this pause button, and I'm going to go get a bucket to put some of this soil in, so when I pull her out of the original pot, we can look at what's going on and make sure that if we end up losing a bunch of this soil or have to remove it, I got a big enough bucket to put this in while we're assessing the situation. So hold on just one moment, please. Alrighty, I think we're back. So what I did was I took the arbervitae off of the rolly guy, and this is the original red pot, and it has holes in the bottom, so I put it in another pot that does not have holes, and we're going to put the soil into its original pot as we pull her out and see what we have going on. So I did check earlier, and it seems to be that her soil is actually loose enough. I can just pull her right on up and out. So all right, and as we can see, we'll turn this upside down. As you can see, she is pretty root rot, very wet. All of this is sopping wet. So I'm going to tip her over and see what the soil does. We're doing this outside. Let's see if I can move you this way a little so maybe you can see a little bit better. There we go. All right, so let's see what we're working with, shall we? First, we're gonna just kind of loosen this all up. Now it is still pretty cold, and she is a tree, so we can get away with doing some of this without actually damaging her. You can see all these brown roots, I'm pretty sure are all rotten, especially the way they just crumble off of here. There's lots of tree bark or some sort of a cover on her in all the way through her roots. So let's go ahead and tip her upside down. Try not to get so much of this on my phone and my camera. Just working it through here and spinning it so that we can get some of this top stuff off. Loosen it all up. Oh, we lost our rock that's holding her apart. So, let's see what we got here. We got quite a bit of damage, it looks like. So, this might be a long video. I really ain't sure what I'm getting into here. So, we're just going to keep wiggling it around and see what exactly we got going on here. You can see how wet she is, which means her root ball is going to be just saturated. And I think we're going to do some pretty good. These look like they're good and healthy. This one looks like it's got new growth on it. So just kind of loosen some of this up here and dig in there a bit. It seems to be really root bound, and a lot of these are looking like they're pretty dead, so that's never a good thing. Hopefully you can see all of this. Yeah, you're seeing this. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my handy dandy little poker and hold her up here and just kind of knock some of that soil out by just poking around and loosening it from the bottom. Okay. Pretty sure I'm going to be nice and sore tomorrow with how I'm sitting here on the edge of the stair, hoping not to fall. All right. Turn it around here some. Yeah, you can see where I got some more of that out here. But there's quite a bit of it. So, some of that is still, let's shake it a bit. Like I said, it's in dormancy, so you can do a lot with her. Right now, dormancy is like a plant going in hibernation for the winter. It slows down its growth and everything, and just goes through the seasons. So, let's sit her back up here a minute and relocate myself before I fall off the stair. Okay, oh, we got quite a bit of soil all over the porch. I'm just gonna scoop some of this up so I don't have so much of a mess to clean up. All right, you are still being able to see this. Fantastic. All right, well, here's what we're gonna do. We'll tip her over and kind of just keep loosening her up. Let's see, what is that? Looks like they put tree bark and peat moss in here, which could be a lot of why the roots are so rot. Peat moss holds a lot of water. And when I use peat moss, I usually mix it with some perlite, and see if we can just kind of loosen this while I'm sitting here. Give my arms a break. This is a bigger tree. I'm not used to working with something so big. And you'll see I'm literally just poking into this massive, what I'm finding out is a massive root ball that has not been very taken care of. So it's crazy. All this roots, holy moly. I'm not raking at it or anything like that. I'm literally just poking holes to get some more of this soil and what I'm assuming is a tree bark or a mulch that they've planted in there. If you can see that, it's like big chunks of mulch and some sort of a tree bark. It's very big and chunky, which is kind of weird too. Let's see if I can tear down. And now I'm not sure if the dark ones are dead or if it's these here that are dead. These look, with all this light coloring to them, they look pretty alive. And then we've got these that are dark and dry and kind of stringy and brittle. So I'm thinking that the dark ones are what's dead, although we got this one here that's got all these big sprouts on it, but it comes from a brown stem, you see. So I think we're gonna do a major transfusion on her. Actually, with how big she is and everything, I think we're gonna do a major prune on her. The more I'm looking at her and thinking, these here look like they're newer roots. These look pretty fresh and have white tips, so they're pretty new. So I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna tip her on her side and just probably have to put her up here on this thing. Let's see if this will hold her. And I think you can still see this. I think I'm just gonna come in here and just like, let me sit her up. I think I'm gonna cut quite a bit of her root ball off, probably a couple inches, almost half of it, and then we'll continue to clean this and see what's actually going on and where the stem of this, the end of this trunk is, and what the major roots. This looks like a good sturdy one that runs through. You know, there are a couple of them. Over here is another one that looks like these are pretty good roots. So I think we're gonna cut some of the bottom off. I might have to go get a rake or a fork and pull some of this loose and the dead stuff off. Because yeah, some of that's just dead on the top. So we're going to do a whole new, we're going to do a repotting of her. Once I get down to her root ball, I'll put her back in this thing because it's more stable. So let's flip you around so I can tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take her roots down a bit, and then I'm going to cut some of those roots off, clean up the top a little. So that means I'm going to have to go get a fork or a rake to clean up the top of that a little. And then what we'll do is I'll cut some of these roots off, or I'll try and, oh no, it's gonna get windy. I'll try and re-stabilize the camera so maybe you can see it a little bit better, maybe from another angle, so that way I'm not straining my back and my arms so much. Maybe I'll put you down on the stairs and have you looking up or something. I just gotta watch the shade so I don't catch the phone on fire when it gets too hot. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clean it up a bit. I gotta wash off my clippers and everything, so I'll pause you and get this a little bit more situated since I just found the pause button. And then we'll come back and I'll show you how I clean my tools in case nobody has seen that before, or you're just interested in watching that again. So I'll do that, and we'll get to work on trying to figure out what else is going on and how we can fix her up and get her healthy. Get her healthy and back into the growing mode, stable. The reason I've got her propagated so that she splits is I want to split her in half instead of having that V trunk. I'm going to split her in half. And what I'm going to do is split her in half, and then we'll have two. And maybe I should talk to you and show you this part while I got her out of here. She's still really moist, so we don't have to worry about her drying out. Let me turn you around, and there you're up, and you more upwards. There we go. Okay. So you can see where she's split, and she's got a really bad scar. I'm not exactly sure why or what happened to her, but I'm going to split her and leave this as the main trunk. And I'm going to take this one and repot it. But with this one, I have to push her back so you can kind of see. There you go. So I'm going to turn her into a bonsai. She's got some really good potential leaves, or stems, branches, I guess you call them. And so with that, those branches, they're very flexible, and it's not hurting her at all. Like, I've been fiddling with it and none of them broke off. I've actually started to clip some of them off and form her so that she will be an actual really pretty bonsai with some nice pads and everything. And I'm not sure if we'll do that to the second one or just let this second one grow. It's been shaded, so it doesn't have a lot of growth, and I did prune some of this because it was very dead and icky looking. So we'll end up with two trees sooner or later. I think we'll just leave her, I might just leave her bounce back after this whole transfusion, and then propagate this secondary branch in the future. I'm not exactly sure yet. I haven't really checked under there. It's been only a couple of weeks, and it is still kind of winter for her. So, and I keep calling her and then I call her him. I don't really have a name for her yet. And if it comes to 2, then we'll have to have 2 names. And I'm trying to name them all so that way I can keep track of them instead of just calling them an arbervitae or a ficus benjamina or a tiger's bark ficus and so forth. So that's what I know. So that's what we're gonna do. So let me pause you, and then I'll clean her up a little bit more, clean up my tools, get all situated here, probably do a video on cleaning the tools and everything, and we'll come back and get this done. I'm not sure how long this video will take, but here we go. Alright, so we relocated, and now I'm gonna try and get it to, there you go, where you should be able to, and here a little bit crooked there. You should be able to see that, and this bucket here, there we go. Okay, so here's my rag, here's my alcohol, and I'm going to start out with these clippers. I still got my handy dandy little pokey guy, and I'm going to also wash these scissors and work from there to see how this works. So first we gotta open these guys and rub them down with some rubbing alcohol, and this is just to make sure that you're not spreading any diseases or anything else from one plant to another. I do this after every use, and then I also do it before every use, just in case someone else has used these for something or what have you. These are actually a pair of scissors that I got out of the kitchen. I use whatever's handy and available, so hopefully you can see all of that. We'll put the rubbing alcohol in the shade here. Alright. You're really not in the shade there, so let's see about moving you over here to the shade. Hopefully, sorry about that, guys. Trying to find a good place for you that's in the shade, and I think the best place is going to be in my shadow. So if I'm working here, well, you're not in a good place for shadow, so we're going to move you forward a bit and see if you, oh, actually we might have one, and bring you up this way, loosen the little guy. There we go. I think that's better for you. There you go. And we'll try and keep all of everything right here. So let's take her out of her pot again. And here you can, yeah, you can kind of see. Might be a little bit better right there too. Alright, so here she is. I'm going to move the scrap bucket over here and relocate a bit. Alright, so like I said, we are going to just simply start by cutting some of these roots. So I'm going to dangle her off of the edge here and hopefully not do too much damage to her top. There we go. There you can see all of this. That's good. And grab these shears. And I am actually right-handed, so this is going to be fun. And just come in here and kind of maybe cut some of this. I don't know if you can see this. And here, we'll do it up here. So you can see where there's just some open spots. So I'm just going in and cutting some of this to clean out the roots. Go ahead and cut. I'm just going to do that all the way around. This one here, you can see that root I just cut, and it's actually got some white in it, so that means there is life in that. So that's good to know. All right. Just cut around here. This is the first time I've ever really had to decided to do something like this and film it, because usually I don't have a camera guy, so I just go ahead and get things done. And if I'm working from this side, let's see if we can't prop you over here so you can see out of my footway. There we go. And you can still see what I'm doing. All right, I think so. Yeah, you can still see it. Okay, great. So as you can see, here's kind of where I've been clipping it. There we go. Here's where I've been clipping it, and I'm just gonna drop all of this off because it's pretty icky anyways. I'm working my way around these bigger ones, bigger roots. I'm leaving them for now. And just cutting through some of these smaller roots till we get to the root ball. Turn it around here. See what we got. Just kind of lopping all of this off. Like I said, this is the first time I'm doing this, so I will give you updates and keep you posted as to what happens with it and all. Alright, now you gotta lay there a minute so we can use this pokey guy. Kind of clean this up a bit. I've been watching a lot of videos and a lot of people who propagate and everything, and I did not get a fork. Let the girls in but forgot a fork. But I've been watching a lot of these, and every time I watch them lop off roots and stuff, I think of it as lopping them off, and it's like, oh no, you know. And then I watch as it goes on and how it progresses, and it's actually healthy for the tree, whether or not you believe that. It's helped the tree actually bounce back and do better. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted as to what happens and how things go. And as you see, there's a lot of dead roots in there and tree bark, which is weird for this kind of a plant. It is an outside plant, but shouldn't have that much tree bark. Now I'm just kind of tickling it or scratching it or whatever you want to call it, and see what we get out of this. These are outside plants. They actually grow this as a shrub. They call it a privacy fence, a living privacy fence, because it lives outside. And it can tolerate quite a lot. It can handle freezing temperatures. It's not You know, mulch it like a normal tree you would. Don't want anything to get too frozen. And this is a bunch of dead roots. So let's get our little clippies and go back in and see what we can clip here. I think we'll get that one. We'll try and save most of it if we can get to the center of the root ball here. Hopefully before my arm falls asleep. Sometimes my projects can be all day projects here. It's kind of jabby. We're gonna stick this. Can we prop you up there a minute? See what we got. Yeah, those are all dead roots. Haven't found the actual core of its root system yet, which is a little odd. And where's the pokey guy? I'll loosen some of this up and see what's going on. He's got to have a core root ball in there with where his stem and everything comes out like most trees. Oh, there's some good looking live roots. Hey, oh, I think we got it. Here's one of them. All right, well, that's good to see. Here, these are some of its little leggy ones, but and we'll definitely, there's that root I told you about that had a little bit of life. Well, that one doesn't have as much life, but we're finding some of the bigger, healthier roots finally in this root stock. So that's good. I think I have found some of its main root ball. So that's good. And they say these things they grow like weeds, because trees, their root system does grow pretty rapidly, and then the top will come in slower as it gets more nutrients. So try and just spin you around here a little and yeah, clean you off. There looks like some more roots. Oh, look at there. All right. This is like very time consuming sometimes, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Most all of my projects, whether I know what I'm doing or not, are very time consuming. I like to take my time and be careful and gentle with things. I assess the situation, and if I'm not for sure about something, I'll go back and cross-reference with some of the other things I've watched or learned or seen and heard or read. So, yeah, there we go. So we're gonna go ahead and flip this back just a minute and clean up some of that that's no good. Now that we see where the roots are starting to pop out here. There you go. Get some of this other dead stuff. It looks like where my root is, so yeah, we'll go down here where it's all dead and clean all of that off. That's better. And as you can see, the dead roots are just like falling off here. You can see them all draping as I cut it, then they just start to fall off, and that's really good. That's that I have to fool with, really. And then I just try and untangle some of these so I don't have to cut too much or traumatize the good roots more than necessary. some of these. Oh, there's the one I told you still had life. So we just weasel these out little by little. So that way, try and get all of that out before we start lopping too much more off. This, and this. There we go. I don't know if you can see that I'm lopping these off where they're dead. This one's got, we better assess that. That's dead. That's dead. Alright. Yeah, once I get to these bigger roots here, I'm looking at what's dead and what's alive. Taking off this dry stuff that's dead, but trying to leave some of this lighter color stuff if it seems to have any life, like this one here seems to have a little bit of life here, so I don't want to lop that off. It looks like there's still quite a bit dead in the bottom of this base, so here we'll get that one off of there. Alright, so this is root ball. So we're going to put that in the bottom of this bucket so we don't mix up too much of the soil and stuff. Maybe if I can get the bucket undone. Got them stuck in there pretty good. Well, we're not going to fool with it. We'll just put it on the rolly tray over there. Alright. And back to this. So I'm going to tip her like this so you can maybe see a little bit better and just loosen up more of that bark and stuff in there. And once we get her nice and situated, then she can bounce back and grow and be happy and not so root bound and oversaturated with water. Because once they get so root bound and their roots start to die, then they have a hard time absorbing all the nutrients and everything out of the soil. So even if you were to fertilize it naturally or synthetically or anything else, it doesn't have the capability of absorbing the nutrients that you're giving it because of all of the rot. So yeah, you can see as I'm just poking around, loosening it up. Okay, here we go. Looks like we might have found some of the stronger, bigger roots up here, unless it's just more tree bark. You can see even up here it's got so much root damage that that's never a good thing. So we're just gonna clean her up and see what we can do. And if we were going to put it into a bonsai, there we actually got some life up here, it looks like. A lot of dead stuff and dry, but we do got some life. And if you're going to make it into a bonsai, then when you want to flatten the bottom of it and stretch the roots outwards, so like make it flat, that also stimulates it to grow more roots and expand. It helps this the neck of it gets thicker as well. So I got all of this on one side. Push it over there so I can get to the rest of this. And like I said, this is pretty much a extremely long process, and usually I don't record it. I just go about doing what I need to do. And yeah, these are really wet, and we haven't come across any mold yet, which is a fantastic thing. No mold means that there's less chance of it having a disease. And yet you can see down here we haven't really come to a thick root. I mean, there's a couple of bigger ones, but nothing major. I'm not sure if this one will even have a major root. I didn't look into its root system much. So we're just kind of winging it here, guys. The name of this channel is Earth Lady's Adventures Relentless Growth, for the pure fact that I'm continuously growing and learning and having things in progress. And oh, that's a rock. I don't think we need that in there. So this is growth. We're learning as we go. So I don't have anybody endorsing my channel or anything right now. I'm working on all that. I just started doing live videos here on the YouTube where they'll stay and I won't lose them like on Facebook and all. So, and that way everybody can come back to reference things. I think I might have, there's a hole in there, guys. I think I might have found its trunk. I think so. We'll let's poke at this a little bit and see what we can see here. Looks like there might actually be a trunk down there, guys. There we go. Yeah, you can see a lot of this is dry, brittle, very damaged. So we're gonna definitely make her a happier puppy by moving her out of this catastrophe. Cleaning her up, getting her repotted. And we'll see how she bounces back and everything once we get her in a new pot and some soil with nutrients and everything. And then I might give her a little drink just to freshen her up, but we're not going to give her too much water at first till I know she's nice and situated, because you don't want her to start, continue the root rot process or be overloaded with more water. So here's one of the main trunks, if you can see this. That's a main trunk. So that's good. We're finding more of the actual tree. It's pretty dry and so brittle. So I'm afraid we might be lopping off a bunch more of the roots. I think it might actually be better for it though. And we might actually put her in a smaller pot, because this one was quite a big pot. And if you see, you know, that's not a big enough trunk to have that big. I mean, she's got the one root here that comes out, but then it goes downwards, which is actually good because that stimulates the tree to grow tall. So, this looks like some of that's dead. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and poke at this some more. I'm hoping to not do too much damage to the actual trunk of this while I'm doing all this. So I'm holding it up, but it's not always the easiest thing to do either. Guess I could maybe see if I can prop it back up here a bit, as long as I'm not putting too much strain. You can see this? Yeah. Too much strain on the trunk itself, you know. You don't want to strain it too much. And I think there's a couple more. Well, since we're going to turn this into a bonsai sooner or later, I think, let's see if we can stick her up there and really, I don't know if you can see this, maybe layer on this other pot. Try and brace her up here. There you go. Okay, this is the core. This is the center of the root ball. And what I'm looking at is that there's not a trunk for a bit of a ways in there. And since we are going to make her into a bonsai, or give it a try anyways, I think we're going to really take a bunch of this off. And, because as you can see, it's dry, it's brittle, it will grow back. So I'm thinking we're going to keep these strong roots, all these big thick ones, and I'm going to cut back a lot of this other stuff that's just pretty much dead root, and that way she's got a good chance of bouncing back and being able to regrow roots and strive to be a big, healthy, bushy tree. Yeah, because some of this is good and some of this is not so good. So here's that one root that looks like it goes pretty much this root here. Kind of sort of see it. I haven't cleaned it off. I don't think I will. But this main root here goes quite a ways up into the ball here, and then it tees off to a couple more. So I think we're gonna really chop some more of this off. So I'm gonna take a break and get her out of the sun for a little bit, and mist her down with some water, and let's see if we can pop her here a minute. There we go. No strain on the trunk, so that's always good. We'll go ahead and take this here. This is in the way now. So Here you can see we got her propped up. I think you can see that. Yeah. So she's propped in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the rag that we cleaned our shears with and drape it over this a bit. One, so that the sun's not beating down on her roots while I walk away for 2 seconds. And 2, so I can rearrange a couple of things and get this situated so that we can get the rest of this job done. And I'll go ahead and clean her roots up and come back with what I did with her roots and show you what we're going to do next and how things are looking from there. So, holy cow, this is already 50 minutes. It says it's recorded. So I'm going to end this, and then I'll come back with the next part, and you can see how the rest of it is and how I'm going to clean it up and what the roots look like and what we're going to do with the tree from there and what it turns out to be. And then you can make sure you like and subscribe, hit the little blue bell somewhere around there, and make sure it's on all so that you can keep up with all of the updates of this beautiful arbervitae. So, all right, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Ciao.